Gentlemen and female gentlemen, this is premiering now, so no pre-watch allegations. We're doing it. We're diving in live. No pre-watch allegations, okay? This is not happening. All right, it's happening right now. New death battle. Simone the Digger versus Kyle Rayner. All right, we got Simone from Gurren Lagann versus Kyle from the White Lantern for Green Lantern. I am telling you right now, while I love Simone and he throws galaxies around and stuff, right? Unironically, bro throws galaxies. Like, he hurls galaxies at his enemies. And that is bonkers strong, all right? He picks up galaxies and he throws them at other galaxies like they're shuriken. It is insanely powerful. I'm saying right now, I am calling it. White Lantern is going to annihilate him. White Lantern is going to destroy him. I like Simone better. I am rooting for Simone. I want to see Simone win. He's not going to win. White Lantern's straight broken. I mean, I'm telling you, man, DC characters are another level. There's like actual insane hyperbolic levels of bullshit when it comes to DC characters. They're ridiculously strong. They're stupidly powerful. And White Lantern is like one of the strongest of the strong. Like, he's one of the strongest in a verse that is super ridiculous in regards to just being overpowered. And also, whenever it's Marvel or DC versus anime, Marvel or DC always win. Every time. Alright? And everyone's gonna be like, oh, but what about that one time where Hulk fought Broly? Shut up. That is like the token victory that they gave anime fans. When the death battles happen, Marvel and DC always win. So that's my gut feeling. I mean, like, there's this one scene in Superman where Superman lifts a book with infinite pages. All right, infinite paged book or some shit. And everyone uses that as an example of like, he lifted a book with infinite pages, so technically he could lift infinity. And it's like, you know what? If you're gonna go with everything super literally, then yes, you're right. They're completely invincible, and yeah, you know what? You had it. But the crazy thing is, White Lantern, isn't he the lantern that represents light, right? Or life. Like, his power is life itself. So yeah, while Simone could throw galaxies, I feel like that is not even remotely close to just the White Lantern's actual insane levels of bullshit. Literally the concept of home. Yeah, whatever, bro. It's like either throwing big things in the universe, and that guy just actually controls all of life and space in the universe. All right, lock in, boys and girls. Lock in. We're doing this live. All right.
Simone the Digger.
All right.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower
Yeah.
to pierce the heavens
They're
and
goated.
conquer infinity.
They're both
He's
great.
Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's
Gurren
our job to
Lagann is
analyze the
amazing.
weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win
A death battle. If you didn't watch Gurren Lagann, you have to watch Gurren Lagann.
Deep underground,
It's perfect.
Jiha village lived in dreary isolation,
Yeah.
oblivious to the wider world above their squalid
Life
cave.
was shit
That's
down
where
there.
the hero of our story comes in.
I'm ready.
The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty.
Yeah!
And his little brother from another mother, Simone.
Yeah!
Too, I guess.
Simone was a digger, content to drill endlessly
just some
through the
guy.
dirt, until the day he found the core drill.
Pronounce Simone.
The key that
Come on,
activated
bro.
the mysterious buried
dude.
mech that Kamina named Lagann. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina
God,
finally
he's so
drove
goated.
their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen. and
I don't even
Kamina
know why they're
leads
bringing this up.
compatriots against them
But
to
okay.
reclaim the Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann.
With Kamina piloting the
Oh, hard R
two
digger.
were unstoppable.
That's crazy,
Of
bro.
all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute
It is.
coolest.
It is the
Fueled by
coolest
his
mech
tireless
anime of all
willpower
time.
And capable of making any weapon they can imagine.
Including missiles, a jetpack,
Love
a
that, love that.
sunglasses boomerang,
True.
and of course,
Drills! Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills,
Lots of
shield
drills.
Kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Bureku! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made
Bro,
booze or
that
something.
was
my
not
whole
the point.
personality.
It's because drills are a
Gurren Lagann's
spiral.
awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces,
And
liberated
spirals
human
represent
villages, and
DNA.
prevented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until
Sorry, I
Kamina
can't pause. We're watching this live.
Oh, wait, shit, was
Dude.
that supposed to happen?
Nope,
Spoilers.
and it was all
Spoilers!
Samuel's fault.
Why would they do
He
this?
let his
What?
willpower
No,
waver, and his
spoilers!
soul brother
Look
paid
away!
the price.
Damn it.
After all, he was just a humble digger,
Yeah.
at home in the darkness, guided
My
solely
digger.
by the light of
What
Kamina's
up?
spirit.
My
So
digger.
his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who
Yeah.
believes in you.
Believe in the me that
Damn,
believes in
Kamina
you.
was the one
The
looking up
goat.
to him the whole time.
What a cool
It was
character.
Simone who found Lagann, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity
To
to
pierce
victory.
the heavens.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass.
Yeah.
But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attacked.
Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential.
Yep.
What they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Because
Remember
spirals
how Gurren Lagann runs on
are
fighting
DNA.
spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation
Human
of spiral
determination.
power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have.
Anything
That's
that could
the
grow
laws of
and
physics
evolve.
Run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned
True.
inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Yup. I love
Potential
this show so
Simone would
much.
use
It's
as he
so
led
good.
Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral.
That's the anti-spiral.
This is
You
when
recognize him
Gurren
from
Lagann
comment
gets
sections?
Crazy.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming.
Yep.
Simone can create portals to different realities
Yep.
and higher dimensions.
Oh, yeah.
He can generate force fields,
Oh,
absorb
yeah.
energy attacks, and
Oh,
even
yeah.
merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Oh, yeah.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or
Yes,
the
sir.
Third Galaxy
He's
Gurren Lagann,
bonkers.
which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions.
Oh, I love it.
Within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time.
I love
physically
Gurren
possible.
Lagann, bro.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster
Yep.
than light.
Yeah.
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history.
Damn.
Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned.
Whoa!
The
They
guidebook
beat
says
SpongeBob?
They beat an innumerable number of enemies.
Wait,
across
hold up.
infinite
Hold up.
universes.
He
You
might
literally
win.
Cannot calculate how fast
Simone
that
might
is.
win,
It
actually.
wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth. An attack that imprisons Simone in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite
fucked
number
is
of
that,
alternate
bro?
realities that controlled his mind.
That is so fucked.
Permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simone and his spiral power are just built
They
different.
created a
And after being
multiverse to
inspired
trap
by his
this
bro,
guy.
Simone absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simone absorbed a higher dimensional
Uh-oh.
structure several orders of infinity greater than himself.
Yeah,
The
never
jump
mind, he
between
might win.
dimensions
He
is
might actually
basically
win.
Infinite.
Wait, hold up.
Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that
Holy.
extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
Oh, wait a
What?
second. He
But
might
we're
win.
Just getting started.
DC might
Imagine
get cooked
a
here.
two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay, that's not too far
Yeah,
off from
no,
what
you can't
actually
imagine this.
happened.
Because when Simone absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simone who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simone real, adding another
Damn.
to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This
Yeah.
all gives our Simone and his spiral
That's
power to
why
form a
the
next step in
anti-spiral
evolution.
hates humanity.
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
This is when Gurren
That's when they
Lagann
throw
gets
galaxies.
Actually fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you.
That's
or
awesome.
Tossing galaxies
That's
around
the
like
craziest
frisbees.
scene. I love
Sorry,
this
did I say
scene.
Galaxies?
Dude, how crazy is that?
Simone's power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simone turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like
Dude,
when Lorgino
it's
used
such a
spiral
good,
power to
it's
survive
such
quantum
a good
breakdown.
show.
Or
You have
the
no
time
idea how
Tina,
good of a
now
show
the
this
best
is.
wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical
baby.
certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, whiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simone evolved one more time.
Yep.
Into Super Tengen Topa Gurren Lagann!
And it's a
This
representation
so big,
of
its size is
Kamina.
literally incalculable, and with a drill somehow even larger
And
than
it
that,
looks like
Simone's
Kamina,
friends shattered
The man who
anti-spiral
inspired him
once
to be who he is.
Cruel indifference
What a
of the
beautiful
universe.
story.
Meet the indomitable human spirit.
proving Kamina's words prophetic.
Yep.
That Simone's drill is the
Drill that will pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simone chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days
Based.
in service to others.
always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars,
Yep.
and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
Yeah,
All thanks
the craziest
to a
part-
humble digger.
Yep. The anti-spiral wants to crush humanity's
The universe is a
Will to
dangerous
grow.
place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional
All right.
vampire,
Maybe he might win. He might
or
actually
this
win.
one really pissed off cat, you know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps.
All right.
They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago
All
by
right.
Blue Leprechaun.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You
Jewish.
love him.
Jewish
You
representation.
might hate him,
Oh.
but you gotta respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until
That's
the
my
day
guy.
his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind.
Uh-oh.
He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path.
Wait,
and
actually?
absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Wait, I didn't know
Emerald
this.
Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what
All right.
remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable willpower like Hal was?
Nope.
He was just there.
Coincidence.
He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good.
Based
being given the
happened
most
to be
dangerous
there.
Magical weapon in existence
All
to
right.
figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient fox
Oh
can
my
master
God.
it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie.
So
from a lamp.
bonkers.
It
So
lets you
strong.
fire energy blasts, create force
Dude, how
fields,
does he ever
affect
lose a
gravity,
fight?
Turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Yeah,
Think
he's
we're
bonkers
exaggerating?
strong.
Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over.
Sure.
That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control
Bro.
time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a speed force singularity.
Nah,
Tapping into the
dude.
Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space.
Dude, I told you he
Requires
was
speeds that are
bonkers
not only
strong.
faster than light, but totally immeasurable.
That's insane.
And the rings
How does
have
he
an
ever lose a
artificial
fight?
intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Poozer Kilowog survived being erased from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earth.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched. Probably. because
Oh,
he's
that's
comic book
interesting.
artist. And we know from this
Whoa.
show, they think of some
Willpower
wild
versus
shit.
But the Green Lantern's
imagination.
most recognizable
I gotta
ability
read this
is their
comic.
constructs.
I never
Kyle's
actually read this
special-
arc.
Samurai armor, pirate ships,
All right.
giant dragons,
Sure.
actual working home computers, and his
That's crazy.
favorite, super fighting robots.
Base.
Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as
Infinity.
Or
I
pull
told
back
you.
a 12 point
I told
dimensional
you.
Big Bang. Wait, point 3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
All right,
So
dude.
it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone.
True.
Never mind. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation
A Karen!
of self-doubt.
His arch
Any reflection
nemesis!
came too late, though,
Hey,
when one
Whammon.
of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend,
That happens.
Alex, and put her body
Happens.
in the fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For
What?
how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
Every
So
time.
it might surprise
Every
you
time.
that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent
There is
member of the
no
Justice League,
way it
faced
happened
off
to this
against
guy
Kyle,
twice.
and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey
All right.
had only just begun.
I'm
In
ready.
order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story. He's to master
Wait, what?
all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic
Okay.
spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The
Sure.
yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your
Right,
mind.
like Sinestro.
The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Wait, he
Or
becomes the
blind
White
fueled by
Lantern because he
bottomless
absorbs all of them?
Possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies'
Oh,
attacks,
God.
but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm.
What the
Which
fuck?
sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his rage.
Oh, shit.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to
Gay.
fight and letting him open
Gay.
portals across space, connecting him to others.
The final one was the Sapphire Light of Love. With
Dude.
it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices
That is not
and control
Sapphire.
their minds. But Kyle
That's
only
Amethyst.
mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Bro.
Oh, self-love.
That's crazy.
I get it.
I don't
Must
get
be
it.
nice.
Self-love.
And with their powers
Miss me with
combined,
that.
he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged
And became
Kyle
white.
became a white.
That's
Lantern.
why, because he's like
Total
Raven
control
from
over
Teen
the
Titans.
Power of light.
All right.
Yes, I cannot
I
think
approve.
of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the
That's
DC
fucked up.
multiverse,
That's
Kyle
crazy.
is vastly more powerful than any other lantern in existence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Far stronger
bonkers
than
strong.
hell. Who could harness the energy of
That's
every
crazy.
power battery across the multiverse?
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light
Dude.
of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay,
That's
so
the
it's not
anti-spiral.
totally useless.
Reskinned
Especially after Kyle
anti-spiral.
visited the Source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to
dude,
reality.
stop.
The life equation is
Stop.
mathematical proof that
Simone
life
is
worth
cooked.
Living.
I
Kyle
told you,
can alter
man.
All of reality at a
Oh.
whim. Even
I was
threatening the new
hoping.
gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart, the anti-life equation,
Of course.
is a conceptual artifact from
Obviously.
a higher reality,
Oh, yeah.
originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
Of course.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness
Oh,
was
shit.
still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it.
Yeah.
Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the
That's
White
nice.
Lanterns.
Of course.
And together,
The whole
they
team.
shattered Oblivion, destroying the
My
self-doubt
goats.
that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek
So he
from LA.
defeated the
And now he was the
anti-life.
one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
Nice.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making
Aw.
mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's bonkers strong, man. I don't know what you're gonna do about this.
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime.
Yeah, sounds
But
right.
We've got a solution.
Yeah.
It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg. It's like our own private Patreon, with a store for Death Battle merch and a complete Death Battle video archive. It's got episodes that YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way. So check out deathbattle.gg live right now.
That's YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Very cool. Yeah, it's a close one. I'm still gonna give it to.
All right,
dude,
the combatant
I'm rooting for
section.
Simone.
Run the data through
I'm
all-
rooting for Simone.
It's time
I think
for
White
the
Lantern's gonna win.
battle!
I think White Lantern's gonna win. We're rooting for Simone. Like, come on, bro. Be the anime that pierces the heavens. Because the thing about Simone,
I'm not rusty at all.
he could overcome anything. That's what spiral energy is. Come on,
Hey,
dude. You got this.
Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Who the hell do you think you are, baby? All right, come on, Simone. You got this. All right. All right, classic.
God with authority.
I mean, this is nothing. Like, come on. Not even
Tell me
close.
about it. 4.
Bruh.
That's nothing. My drill will pierce the heavens.
All right, it's getting good. We're getting there. It's cooking. They're cooking. All right, here we go. The grand finale. Almost.
I'm a Lantern.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Bro, it's two people that pierce reality. It's such a crazy fight.
Now you know.
Great music, too.
I'm Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down.
That's my goat. Roll, roll, fight the power. Uh-oh. All right.
Stop fighting. Think about
But he could regenerate himself. He could imagine himself back.
for me.
You got this. Easy. Easy live this, bro. Come on, dude. Easy, bro. Come on.
Faith in the Simone that
Believes in you. Yeah. Endless possibilities.
Super Tekken Sofa Gurren Lagann!
God damn, that's awesome.
The drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Break!
Uh-oh. 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 Oh, that's crazy. I mean, this could end reality. And then they could both literally rewrite themselves into existence. It's such a bonkers
Super weapon
battle.
wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in.
Wait.
In brightest day. In
Nah, dude.
blackest night.
Oh,
no
God.
evil shall escape my sight.
Uh-oh.
Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
No, no! Oh, God, dude. It's so good. You can't even be mad.
Let's see you grit those teeth.
Bro? Dude? Simone wins? No!
You'd make a good lantern.
Bro! Dude, I am so happy with this. I have never been this happy to be wrong.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
God damn! Clean! That was amazing. That was amazing. Oh my god.
Possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards.
Yeah, no shit.
Speed.
They can both
Simone
rewrite
can hit an
reality.
Infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
Yeah.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed
Whoa, dude.
become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their
All right.
imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
All right, so Simone wins potential.
Imagination. The
right,
boundless
Kyle
things
wins
they can conjure
potential.
To use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the
Yeah.
other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Yep.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against
That's
existence
insane,
being
dude.
erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly
Again,
drills.
that doesn't really matter, I think.
Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really good.
Yeah, Simone wins on willpower.
Since it's the
He
source
does.
of everything for both of them.
Yep.
Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Yeah,
Both
Simone.
can manipulate reality
Simone
on
has
a
that.
multiversal scale with their
Easy.
willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference.
Oh, come
This might
on.
sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's
Such a
power can
bullshit
threaten.
And remember,
calculation.
each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Come on,
Which
dude.
meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a
No,
base
it doesn't.
level.
He was only
However,
surrounded by
that
11
doesn't
dimensions.
necessarily
He coulda
mean
gone
Kyle
more.
Gets the edge because
Nah,
if there's one
nah,
thing
nah.
both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
Yep.
So to determine the limits of their willpower,
There it
we
is.
first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is
Yep.
how he can constantly
Spiral power
evolve
is
to get
potential.
stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level.
Yep.
Kyle's never destroyed
Damn.
something that thoroughly before.
Without
right.
the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge.
That's
Especially
bullshit.
Since Simone could likely
Nah,
regenerate for
dude.
at least
All
a
right.
week straight, like
Okay.
Mia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental
Oh,
manipulation
absolutely.
meant he
That
could
has
power
nothing. You
through
cannot reduce
anything
his
Kyle
willpower.
threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality
right.
and would have more than
That was
even
the question.
odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality
All right.
and himself.
Interesting.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself, writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story.
So
no
based.
matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's.
Yep.
Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway?
That's the point of
Gurren
spiral
Lagann
energy.
In a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential
That's my
would
goat.
shatter even this lantern's light.
What a
I hope
fucking
Kyle
go.
at
This
least
was really
dug
good.
the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The
Ah, I
winner,
see
Simone the
that.
Digger.
All right. Dude, this was a
Next time
fantastic.
on
All right, what's
Death
next?
Battle.
What's next? What the? No, Tom and Jerry versus Looney Tunes. There's no way. There is no way.
Subscribe
Wile E.
and join as a
Coyote
member to
versus
see more
Tom.
Death Battle.
Okay, that one's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna vote for Tom on that one. This was fantastic. This was fantastic. What a good death battle. Just closing thoughts. I am so happy. I am so unbelievably happy that my goat actually won. I am so happy that my goat won and took this one. My goat, Simone. Insane W. I'm surprised because they almost always give it to DC, but yeah, that's insane. I have to say, Simone, his ability is that he'll always get stronger, that his willpower will always keep growing. The reason why the anti-spiral attacked Simone altogether is because they sensed him growing more powerful than the very fabric of the reality that they exist in. That's why he became a threat, and that's why they targeted him altogether. So he actually surpassed the natural counter to evolution in the universe. So again, I am super happy with the way this turned out. My actual GOAT actually took this one. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you liked the live reaction, like the reaction to the actual premiere of the death battle. And I'll see you in the next one. Leave a like, 10,000 likes, and we have good times in the future. Every day, every day. It's every day, bro. Bye. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.